Hello, everybody. How are you doing? We're going to get started here in a second. You know, it's got a good soundtrack. Splatoon 3.
Oh.
It does. It does. Yes, I agree with that.
I don't play that game and I, I pop out like the song and the
Finally.
before they take it before they take it down in YouTube.
Yeah. It drove me crazy. It was driving me crazy yesterday. My capture card stuff wasn't working, but I got it figured out on all ends now.
What was it?
For some reason, it was in Streamlabs, and I have two separate scenes for output for my GameCube stuff and for my Switch stuff. For some reason, it only changed when I went into the GameCube scene and also changed that one to 1080p. So for whatever reason, even though it wasn't that scene, it was still forcing things to 480. And whenever I had Streamlabs open, it was doing it on everything. Even, I noticed on AverMedia, it actually looked good once I had Streamlabs closed. So I don't know. It was a whole thing, and it was slightly annoying. But it's fixed now. I installed OBS just in case, and I was doing that, but I don't need it. I fixed it on Streamlabs. I might have to start using OBS, but
I updated StreamFX, and it looks it is so pretty. OBS is so good. I love OBS.
You talking about the StreamFX plugin?
Yeah, I
think I had it for a while.
They changed the UI and then.
Oh yes, they did. Yeah, they updated it. It looks real nice. Actually, it looks a lot like Slobs now.
Yeah,
there you go.
Well,
yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, I know.
I think it's okay. But yeah, OBS is so pretty now. The StreamFX also it will load faster now because they changed. Well, they don't support all Windows anymore.
All right, everybody, we're gonna get really close to starting. Let me just get a few things set up. See stream elements. In the meantime, if you want to hit that like button, you want to tell a friend, we'd really appreciate it.
Do it.
There he goes.
Bless you.
The hell? That...
The right button.
Oh no, we're gonna get the MCA if I play that.
That's the right button.
Playing your recorder.
Okay. Do you guys hear that?
It's not a recorder, no.
Yeah, you guys. Doesn't seem like you guys would hear that. Okay. Let me go here, hit that button, and then hit. Oh nope, and that just means it's not actually fixed in Goxler.
Sounds. There we go.
I've got the Goxler.
That sounds.
I got Goxed.
Lord. Did Mike fart? Let's ask Mike. When you sneezed, did a fart come out?
No.
When he sneezes, he always farts through his mouth when he sneezes.
Look, I'm always one of those people who tells people when I fart, so that I will never be accused of lying about it.
Fair enough. Okay, we got that.
Oh, I had crisp on. That's why my shit wasn't coming through.
Oh yeah, you had crisp there. Ah, there it is.
Oh, let's freaking go.
I love this.
There is not a stain. That is a skyline of Epcot. You can't get me with that. Epcot stands for Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow.
Oh man, I did not know that.
Yeah.
What the hell is even that?
Okay, I am ready on that front. We tested the music. We were good.
Don't forget to tweet to your 100,000 followers.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. All right. I guess I have 100,000 followers now. I did not.
1% of those viewers.
Let's see. It's actually.
But I said games beat the size of my tweet.
Wow.
Wow.
Let's check and see. Let's see the actual number. It's probably not 100,000. It's probably like 99. Oh no, it is 100,000.
It is 100,000.
100,034. Weird. Okay. That's
it's Kakashi Sensei's birthday today. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Kakashi Sensei. Okay. Okay, so
Mm-hmm. 3 months since what?
Oh yeah, he's reading. You know he's reading. Yeah, Kakashi's reading tonight.
Who's Kakashi again?
He's the sensei from Naruto.
Oh,
It's the teacher, yeah.
I was worried I forgot something I should have known. I was supposed to get this right. That's right. I can't actually believe it's only been 3 months, to be honest.
3 months since what?
Since you left and we changed the name of the podcast.
Oh. Yeah, it feels a lot
Since you
longer.
abandoned me?
That's right. That's for the appropriate way to set this.
Yes,
But
and
did-
actually somehow improved everything.
Yeah,
in the
during
process.
Arcade Pit, you proved that GameSpeed is better without Grubb.
That's true. Yes,
I saw that.
they're calling me in the comments a god gamer on this latest episode of Arcade Pit, Jeff.
Whatever.
And
I
I can't confirm or deny.
I played so well in the games I actually got a chance to play. And I actually got a chance to F-Zero and the Super Mario.
Donkey Kong Country 2.
Not Donkey Kong Country 2, but I was playing against Smite. It wouldn't have
F-Zero's
mattered.
No,
Smite
but
never
loses.
loses.
I was a straight up deity when it came to Manhole. I didn't miss a single
okay,
one.
Manhole
I never
was
played
great.
that game
Yes.
before in my life. I learned
yes.
it right on the spot, and I was just destroying Manhole.
I figured it out, and then I started overthinking it, where I was like, you just got to put him up. You just got to put him up. And I'm like, no, you have to hold him up. And then my brain broke. And so I was doing pretty good, and then you didn't miss a single one. So yes, that was actually God Gamer.
Just like
Mikey
Jesus
doesn't
Christ,
miss.
Mike Minotti wake up the next day alive and all powerful.
I beat the Mega Man 3 challenge with a minute to spare, but I didn't get the bonus points for killing Woodman's clone in Mega Man 3, and that made me a little sad, but still.
You're a perfectionist. What?
Yeah, what can I say? I demand the best from myself.
Yeah. Unlike others.
Unlike
Shall
others,
we not
just
names?
rub and scrub their way through life.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
Yeah, well, I fucked your mom.
Okay. Did I put the right link in there? I think
Who
so.
knows?
Mike McGotti. There you go.
All right,
I
Mike
guess I'm like, I'm
Missnaughty.
Gotti.
Michael Missnaughty. All
He
right.
went from Miss Naughty to Mike Gotti.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
Goddamn.
that sounds like I'm gaudy, not that I'm a god. That's actually
Yeah.
not good.
Okay.
Wait, Sega
Mike
games for
the ADD?
just and NSO Sega Genesis games just dropped. Baby. What do we
All right,
got?
let's
What do
go
we
live.
got?
Let's do it. All right, should I count us in?
Yeah.
Okay. Tweet and say we're going to talk about it. 5, 4, 3. It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Games Mess Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything about the world of games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb, and with me is...
Mike Minotti.
In today's episode, we have Segas, we have Genesises, we have games on Nintendo Switch Online. We'll get to all of that here in a second. Those games just dropped. First, I want to know, Mike, how are you doing?
Pretty good, Jeff. You know, it's funny how 2 days ago it felt like the world was going to end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out, yeah, a little perspective, a little time. Go outside, touch some grass, you feel better.
Yeah, I touched a little corn. I'm doing a lot better. Absolutely. It's got a thing where, like, you know, you got to just take the L and everyone will be like, oh, okay, that's all we wanted you to do. It's like,
Yeah, I
that
guess
was,
so.
we prescribed you this punishment. And we were like, okay, that seems fair.
I'll do it.
Yeah, and now it's like everyone, okay, well, let's move on, because no one actually really cares all that much. They just really want to play the games, and that's why they're upset. And it's like, well, now we're back to just waiting for Nintendo to do this thing. We already have questions, people asking about that, and we're not going to have many answers for you, but we'll talk about it. That's fine with us. Real quick, the Sega Genesis games, they just dropped. I don't even know what they are. Anything cool?
We have Alicia Dragoon, Beyond Oasis, and Earthworm Jim 1. Was Earthworm Jim 2 already put on there? Did we get 2 before 1? Am I making that up?
Did we get Earthworm Jim 2 on Nintendo Switch Online for Super Nintendo?
Is that right? Oh, weird. You might be right.
It might be the case.
Yeah.
It's Earthworm Jim for Super Nintendo might honestly already be on there, and maybe they're just putting the Genesis version on there
I
now.
always thought that, yeah, I think the Genesis version is supposed to be better for Earthworm Jim. At least I always associated that game more with Genesis than Super Nintendo.
Yeah, because it's a bad game, just like all Genesis games.
Well, Alicia Dragoon, Jeff, I don't know if you played this. This is a pretty rad game. It's like Castlevania with more magic. You play as a sexy girl, and you have a dragon pet who follows you around. And then, but Beyond Oasis is a Zelda-like with like some pretty cool animation.
I do remember that. I've never played it though.
You might like it. You should try Beyond Oasis.
Is the Legend of Senti, is that on the NSO?
I feel like it is. I feel like that is on NSO. That's the one that is a lot like Zelda.
Yes, I should just play that.
Yeah. So, but good stuff here actually. Like, I feel like it's not something that's going to really freak anyone's mind out, but these are all actually pretty good. Even Earthworm Jim, Jeff, is not that bad. It's still fun.
No, it's not that bad. It's just not. It's also not good. It's not a good game. It's just kind of. It's like boring, like all those games.
Your whole thing with what was it that you said about
Dave Perry?
Elden Ring. No, Elden Ring. Like Elden Ring's a bad game. That's why I like it. So that's a high compliment.
I don't know if that's exactly what I said. I just
that's what you said.
It's like the best bad game I've ever played, which is still true. Actually, it's like it doesn't care in the ways it's bad, and that kind of owns. I love it. I love Elden Ring. But fair enough.
Because it's so good, not because it's so bad.
Yeah, it's also better than any. No, I said it's a bad game that's better than any other game, and I do actually believe that. It's like it's bad, sure, and like where it's really aggressive and all these, and like it's obtuse and all these other things, and like the mechanics feel a little bit off, but it still is more fun than any other video game. All right, you can get more from Mike and me by joining the Discord at GameMess.net. If you want to ask a question, you could drop a super chat during the show here on YouTube. We will answer it live before the end of the show. Thank you to Carlos Ayin, who's Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme songs. We are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever pods are caught. Give us a good rating wherever you are listening, and hit that like button on YouTube. It really helps people find the show. Thank you to our mods. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/GameMess. That gets you inside the secret channels in our Discord. It'll automatically connect you to the Discord as well, so you could do that. You can also hit the join button here on YouTube. That'll get you the same benefits, which include stuff like the Podcast Producers channel, where we're very active and we're always listening to feedback. It's where we plan a lot of community stuff. And there's the insider channels as well and things like that. But we also do like a Jeopardy game once per month. You could watch that live. And we do a Q&A, monthly Q&A. You could join that as well. In the meantime, though, once again, hit that like button. It helps people find the show while we're live. All right, Mike, we got some big topics to get into. You want to just hop right in?
Let's do it, baby.
It was E3 in September.
Yeah.
It was a busy week.
It was.
What the hell happened? Why did everyone decide to do something this week? I mean, I know Tokyo Game Show was coming, but it just seems like, is that really
weirder? I don't know.
Yeah, is that why everyone felt like, okay, we got to do something before Tokyo Game Show? I
guess it's just because like the holidays coming up. It's time to start talking about things. So, and it's been a while since a lot of people did do something or another. A lot of people kind of like skipped out on E3 or didn't do much for it. By E3, I mean like the summer time frame there. So. I guess you have to do it now. But yeah, even like beyond Tokyo Game Show, why did Call of Duty do their big thing this week? Like today? I don't know. So
Microsoft had a couple of things. They had an indie game showcase, and then they had a showcase at Tokyo Game Show where they announced a lot of games going into Xbox Game Pass, like Deathloop, which just doesn't seem aimed at the Tokyo Game Show audience. It seemed like aimed at a worldwide audience. So everyone did something this week. I wonder if you have anything that stood out to you. Otherwise, we can go over some of the big announcements that happened.
I think Street Fighter 6 looks amazing. I am so excited for Street Fighter 6 right now. I like just the look of it. I love that it has this like weird single player mode that reminds me a lot of the single player modes we got in those GameCube, PlayStation 2 era Mortal Kombat games. You're kind of like just running around this open world talking to the characters. You get a player avatar here. It's like you talk to them and they teach you their moves. So you're kind of making this custom character with a grab bag of different Street Fighter abilities. There's all these like fun references everywhere. Like you're in Metro City at some point. It looks like from Final Fight, and it's called Hager Stadium instead of Madison Square Garden, like Mike Hager. Even like that online lobby thing, it looked like a person was just like at the character selection screen for Final Fight. I'm like, can we just play Final Fight in this game? Because that would be pretty good. Like all the characters that they showed off today for the first time, like Dalsim and E Honda, Blanca, they all look very good. I am so excited for Street Fighter 6. I've liked Street Fighter a lot. I kind of missed out on 5 for the most part. One, because like the PlayStation exclusivity was a little weird. It doesn't bother me, but my friends who like Street Fighter didn't really have PlayStations, so I just didn't play it a lot with them. And that game came out with such a weird, lack of content at first. This game is like a direct answer to that. It seems like it is coming out very strong.
Yes, there's going to be a beta next month, right? An open beta for everyone to participate in, at least. That's
right.
That's pretty exciting for a chance to actually go hands-on with this game. The new trailer that they showed off was like, okay, and now here is stuff like Ken and classic characters. And then at the same time, the things that felt new about it, at least from what I've been able to gather as someone who didn't play any Street Fighter V, is it feels like it has a sense of, if not sense of humor, a sense of self, a sense of style, a strong voice. E Honda looks incredible. Blanca looks incredible. Dalzim looks incredible. Ken looks like a big fucking goof. It looks awesome.
I was talking a lot of shit about E Honda on my streams lately. People were giving me crap for it. E Honda looked very good in this
he looks
game.
Awesome. E Honda was always my character, so it makes a lot of sense that you feel a need to make fun of him.
My rant was about how I don't necessarily need all the Street Fighter 2 characters in every Street Fighter game going forward, and I was like, who really cares about E Honda? Turns out a lot of people care about E Honda.
Give me that 1,000-hand slap.
I regret my words and deeds. There's Mega Man stuff in there. Little Mega Mans here and there.
Exactly. It's like, okay, they're just going to be... I don't know. It seems more confident. It also feels very modern. It feels like a game that's coming out after Fortnite, right? It feels like informed by that, but not completely bent in that direction. It's just like, no, we see what's working for other people. We're going to do that in our own way. And I don't know. I'm into it. And again, the expression, that's the big thing. The characters are so expressive.
This so good.
This key art that does have E Honda, Ken, Blanca, and Dalzim, each one are making an incredible facial expression. And it's like, if that stuff comes across fully when I'm actually playing, it's going to be, these characters are going to feel so alive, and I'm ready for it. So, that was the big thing today.
It has a mode with items in it, so Turbo Sean will be happy. He thinks items make Smash Brothers so much better. I expect that's the only mode he'll play as.
It sounds like otherwise a lot of fun,
he hates fun. Otherwise he would hate fun, right? Yeah.
I think that sounds right, actually. I think he probably will play with items on occasionally. Maybe not the only mode. Maybe
it should be the only mode.
Okay, all right. Jesus. Listen, I'm not going to argue for Sean, although I think it's Smash Brothers playing with items on is the right way of doing things, but that's because it's a party game to me.
Stupid thing to do. It's not a party game. It's a serious fighting game.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's the girl at the party holding onto the guy, explaining something to his face while he stares off in the middle distance. It's a serious fighting game, and no items should be allowed.
Those pictures always make me so uncomfortable because all I can do is just smell alcohol breath, permeating through my screen. I don't like it.
Exactly. I have a list of other stuff that happened this week. For example, the State of Play. Tekken 8 was announced.
Speaking of fighting games.
Yes, also looks very good. It's not looking like Street Fighter 6, but I think the universe is right where Street Fighter 6 looks like the most expensive fighting game ever made. That's right. That's the way it should be. And then Tekken 8 can just be Tekken. That's fine. And it looks very Tekken. I think it looks really good. But I don't know. Are you a Tekken guy?
No, and I kind of want to get into it finally. I don't know why I didn't. I think it stemmed from my old Super Sega alliances from back in the day.
Sure.
Where I was like, oh no, I like the Sega ones. I like Virtua Fighter and
yeah, but what'd you call it back then? You probably called it Virtual Fighter.
Oh, I called it Virtual Fighter. I did not realize that there was a missing L there. But it's the same reason why I was playing Daytona and Virtual Fighter and not Ridge Racer and Tekken. I already, regretted not playing Ridge Racer because those games are great. So it's time for me to finally get into Tekken, I think.
We don't have to go through the VR games, but they didn't show much of VR. They showed a couple of ports. I thought that was weird. What they did show, though, was, I guess, another port/remake, Like a Dragon Ishin, which is the new /old Yakuza period piece, where it takes all the characters from the previous games and now all the characters from the most recent 6 and 7 Yakuzas, puts them in medieval Japan, ancient Japan, and has them fight as samurais. It looks really cool. Apparently, this is a game that came out for the PS3 and PS4 way back in 2014. Now it's finally coming everywhere. They said, it's because Yakuza is more popular than ever worldwide, and because of games like Ghost of Tsushima did really well, so they feel confident doing this. And it means we're getting more Yakuza more quickly because there's a lot of games in the works. They have
you mean we're getting a lot of Like a Dragon more quickly?
Yes,
Jeff.
Like a Dragon. They are changing the name. It seems like someone mentioned to me, and I have no idea if this is true, that getting the Yakuza license is expensive. Which the idea of like going to a gang and being like, "Hey, we need your license," but maybe I don't know. Maybe they're like incorporated into the in Japan or something. I don't know. Either way. Like a Dragon, Yakuza, whatever. Yeah. I actually don't care that much. I think Like a Dragon is a really cool name too.
Me too, actually. Yeah, I'm like kind of fine with that. And yeah, so they also have, on a separate event, we had Like a Dragon 8 announced, and also that sort of guidance story with the character from the previous game.
Kiryu.
I'm not a big fan of the series. I would like to play more of it. There's a part of me that's like, it's a little weird that I understand at some point you had to bring the old guy back and do the both of them are here thing. The new guy has only had one game, and they're already doing the now it's both of them thing. Like, maybe that could have waited.
I think I had Jordan Midler on the show, and he suggested that maybe Kiryu will die in the first 5 minutes of the new game. And I think that is so inspired. I think that would be so cool. It would be so awesome if they did that, because you have the whole side story. You could just go do that instead and have him be on his own instead of doing the Star Trek Generations equivalent for Yakuza. Ichiban is a cool character. I played quite a bit of Yakuza 7, came nowhere near finishing it. I really like Ichiban, so I'm glad they're
I liked him a lot. Yeah.
I'm glad they're still going in that direction.
I'm walking all over you right now.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say I'm glad that they are still sticking with him to a certain. I'm glad they didn't fully abandon him. Although I agree that it's weird that Kiryu is kind of showing him, but stealing some of the spotlight. I think Ichiban is strong enough to stand next to him, though.
Yes, absolutely.
And then Hogwarts Legacy trailer, but it still looks grim and weird.
Zoned out.
Yeah.
Did not see a second of it, really.
Yeah, it still looks like it's appealing to people who would read a lot of grim, dark Harry Potter fan fiction, and that's the game they're making. Pacific Drive, though, looks incredible. This is a run-based roguelite driving survival game. Takes place along the Pacific Coast Highway in the Pacific Northwest area. I guess maybe Oregon-ish, North California, Washington, whatever. And you have this station wagon packed with incredible ghost hunting gear or whatever, like radars and stuff like that. And you could collect more and add and suit up your station wagon to make it more make it easier for you to survive. And you're going to keep traveling along this world. I don't know, the idea of sprucing up your car to try to survive in a world and having that be a run-based thing, that sounds very cool to me. I am really excited for this. This one comes out in 2023. It also has a good look to it. Did you get a chance to check this one out?
Yeah, I looked at this one. I am interested. I don't think I'm as immediately sold on it as you are, but I want to see more.
That's fair. Then, of course, we have PlayStation Stars, the star of the show.
What the hell?
The loyalty, man, it's weird when a company's just like, our loyalty program. Like, Kroger has a loyalty program. They have never, ever said the words loyalty program to me. They're just like, hey, if you use this, you save money. And it's like, oh, it works as a loyalty program. Because I'm like, I think I already have the thing on my keychain. I'm just going to go to Kroger instead of the other store because it saves me money. They're just like, be loyal to us. We'll give you virtual goods. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why? What is any of this? It is so bizarre, actually. Because they're like, okay, the thing is, we're going to give you non-NFT reward.
Not NFTs, but kind of. You would be forgiven for thinking they might be.
Yes, and it's like, okay, and then what do I do with them? You look at them, I guess. There's no place. I mean, so far, there's no place to put them. Now, I'm assuming, I guess, you know what? I'm hoping that this is building up towards something like a PlayStation Home 2. Probably gets announced alongside a PSVR event, right?
I hope so.
Where you can actually pick up these things and look at them and show them off to other people in their PSVR helmets, right? I mean, otherwise, this is just one of the weirdest things Sony has done, but whatever. I guess they got a budget. They got to spend it. Sin Duality was the mech fighting game that I think looked okay, but it kind of didn't look great next to Stellar Blade, which was a very slick game out of South Korea. Kind of Bayonetta with wetter characters. The characters are very wet. What do you think of Stellar Blade?
I just see. Wait, no, it's leaving. It looked really good in a lot of ways, and I just can't get over the 2002 era jiggle physics.
Yeah, they are.
And it was just weird seeing that back again. And it was just like the same thing too. It's like these characters are wearing incredibly tight clothing, and yet their breasts have like the movement of Jello.
Yeah,
it's just bizarre.
It feels like very much that game though. The game that's just like, this is what we come to games for. We come there because the boobs are big, they jiggle, the characters are all hot, and kind of they kind of look a little bit like sex dolls, honestly. Like, that's what they're making. Like, I don't think that's unfair to say it that way. I think that's what they're going for. And but still, the game looks very slick and high production values. In this, like, in a way that like an Unreal 5 engine demo, or like the guy on YouTube who makes Mario in Unreal Engine 5. It's slick in that same way, which is why I'm a little skeptical of Stellar Blade. But if the game comes out and has a good combat system and looks like this, great, that's fine. I actually don't care. That's cool. And then the Rise of the Ronin is a Koei Tecmo Team Ninja open world ninja game, where it kind of looks like Assassin's Creed, but like Assassin's Creed 3, honestly. And then yeah, I don't know. It then looks like it has Neo combat, which okay, fair.
Yeah,
it's hard for me to know if this is one that's actually going to be exciting because this open world's going to be interesting to explore. It doesn't look like it in the trailer, though.
See, I don't know. I'm into this one. I'm kind of excited for it. The Neo games, I haven't played them. People like those. I played Stranger of Paradise, which is apparently very similar, and that was fun. Koei Tecmo, also Ninja Gaiden. I was having just played that for a Game Mess. I was getting those vibes from it. Also, I think this could be a good time.
I mean, I think it could be a good time too. I'm like just really waiting to see how interesting the world is, and I just can't tell from looking at the trailer right now. I think there's a chance that it could be really fun, but I'm just kind of guessing. And then God of War Ragnarok. That's one of the best game trailers I've ever seen, Mike. I can't get over how good it is.
What the heck? Yeah, I mean, and I was complaining about how the Tears of the Kingdom, I had to think for a second again, trailer. It didn't have the WoW trailer with it. Like Breath of the Wild had that WoW trailer the one time. Mm-hmm. And, you could argue these games don't need it. They're sequels. Everyone knows what they're getting into. But, we talked about God of War 2 a lot, Jeff, and I was always somewhat dismissive of it. Even as somebody who really liked the last one, there's part of me that just didn't feel the hype for it. And, you cut together a good trailer, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, yeah, I am going to be excited for that. That is going to be cool. These people know what they're doing. This is going to be very, very fun. Very good trailer. Wow.
Yeah, it just it gets me set up with the expectation that this game is going to start fast and build and build and build and do so with a really rapid pace. Now, we'll see if that actually happens. But that is my expectation now, where before my expectation was, whatever, I could probably skip this. I'll be fine. Right now, I don't feel like this is a game that I could afford to skip. That's how exciting this trailer has made me. It is, it's got some of the coolest looking things I've ever seen in a game, period. And if that is what they're showing in the trailer, I think they probably have even bigger surprises within the game itself. And again, maybe that's wrong. Maybe they blew their load right now, but I don't think so. So I am... a couple months, I will sit down to play this game and start it. And if it disappoints me, then whatever, that's fine. I bet a lot of people are going to like it. And it's with the last one, I bounced off, got bored, and I would not change a thing about it because so many people like it the way it is. And I'm like, this one's just not quite for me. It wasn't a good match. And if that happens with this one, I won't be too disappointed. I really hope it does click, though. I really hope it. And really, it would just come down to a slightly faster pace, I think, at least out of the gate. And then we covered the Nintendo Direct in our last of the Nintendogs podcast, but any other thoughts on that from this past week? Just maybe in comparison to the state of play.
Oh, gosh, I mean, I don't know. They're similar in a lot of ways, right? Both kind of just ending with these known quantities. We got some nice reveals there. I thought they were both, good. I said before how the Nintendo one just didn't happen to have things that tickled my fancy. Obviously, the Nintendo one was bigger and had more surprises and things like that. But they still both of them felt paced pretty well. Yeah. The Nintendo one's getting a lot of flack for having a lot of farming games. I kind of like the Sony one had 10 games, and let's see, 5 of them are character action games. We consider character action games, I think, to be like a higher tier than a farming game. So I think we give it a pass, but it's like,
I don't know, who knows in the end, but some of these ninja games could be pretty similar, or, God of War is going to be like the last God of War or whatever. But
I like making jokes about there being a bunch of farming games. I don't actually mind or
same.
care. Like,
exactly.
Hey, it's more odds for one of them to be really good. It's like we have to play all 4 of them.
I'll say my big takeaway is I think the Direct was pretty good. I think this State of Play was one of the better State of Plays in a very long time. They tend to sort of come out with an obligatory. I think I said that word this way the last time, and it was wrong.
Yeah, obligatory is correct. Last time you were like obligatory.
Yes, there. Obligatory sort of manner where it's like, oh, we're just doing this because we feel like we have to for our partners. This one just felt like, no, we had some stuff to put out, and we're pretty confident about it, and that's cool. And it wasn't like overstuffed. It was just 10 games, and the 10 games felt like many of them were hits, and even the ones that weren't, they didn't overstay their welcome. So a good presentation. And then do you have like any thoughts on like the Xbox thing at Tokyo Game Show? There wasn't much there. It was like Deathloop coming to Game Pass, things like that.
I didn't even really get to pay attention to this. I was working, and then I went to the dentist, and I worked a little bit more, and I took a nap until this. Was there anything big there? I've heard about the Deathloop thing. Was there something beyond that?
No, there's just like basically other games. Assassin's Creed Odyssey comes to Game Pass. It's that level of announcement. That's okay. Ni no Kuni is coming to Game Pass.
Ni no Kuni, yeah, I heard this from your show this morning.
Right.
Yeah, I played Ni no Kuni 1. It liked it a lot at the time, but wasn't very sticky. Right? Like it would not be in my top like 10 JRPGs to recommend to people. But if you like Studio Ghibli like JRPGs, I think you'll enjoy it. And then 2 was just disappointing for having that amazing concept of the President of the United States becoming a JRPG protagonist and not actually doing anything that interesting with it.
All right. The other big story this week that I think I want to talk about is the moving forward of the investigation by the CMA in the UK into the Activision acquisition by Microsoft. We've known that this was going to happen, that they were going to go into what they've called phase 2, which is a deeper look into the deal and get with further scrutiny.
That's the one where they fight Ultron at the end.
It's the one where they fight Ultron at the end, right? This is the end, or yes, exactly. And
not the end game, Jeff.
Not, it's very specifically not the end game. It's the middle game.
That's it.
So we knew this was coming. This part of the phase is like, okay, if the threshold now is there must be significant lessening of competition, and we need to be able to prove that. Whereas before it was just like, is there any reason why this could go wrong? And obviously there is, so that they've moved on to phase 2. Now they have a higher threshold. We'll see if they get there. Now, we knew this was coming, so the reason I'm talking about it is Sony has commented on it, and I'm actually just pulling this up from VGC because I just saw this beforehand, so let's go through it. Sony welcomes UK Watchdog's decision to further probe Xbox's Activision deal. This comes from Tom Ivan at VGC. Sony has responded to the news that UK competition regulators has launched an in-depth probe of Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. On Thursday, the Competition and Markets Authority said its inquiry into the $69 billion merger has officially been expanded to a second phase due to a number of antitrust concerns. Notably, the CMA is worried about the impact the deal could have on PlayStation's ability to compete. Let's see. The Sony welcomed the news that the CMA is to expand its inquiry in a statement issued to GamesIndustry.biz. By giving Microsoft, here's the quote, by giving Microsoft control of Activision games like Call of Duty, this deal would have major negative implications for gamers and the future of the gaming industry, it claimed. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality gaming experience, and we appreciate the CMA's focus on protecting gamers. In response to that, Microsoft has said to VGC, it makes zero business sense for Microsoft to remove Call of Duty from PlayStation given its market-leading console position. So, here's what we have happening. Sony is like, man, the CMA, they're go-getters. They're going out there and they're doing this for the gamers. Gamer rights. Finally, this is a gamer issue, Batman, and the CMA is the Batman of the gaming industry, and they're gonna get this. And so they're just like the attaboy. And clearly, this is like something that Sony feels like they can get behind because they think that this is their best chance to get something done. And then Microsoft is just like, we're not going to take it away because you're the number one market leader. And then the implication kind of seems like if that were to change, then we could take it away in the future still.
I mean, they kind of go other way, like, look, you're in first place, not us, right? Like they snuck that in there to kind of solidify their position here. I'm just pretty surprised that it has actually turned into a public fight about this.
Right.
We've seen a lot of these mergers, acquisitions, and the other side was always kind of silent on it. But Sony is just straight up, very publicly, trying to stop this and cheering for it to stop. And, I get it to a certain degree. Obviously, they don't want to lose Call of Duty. I am surprised how loud they are being about it. One question, Jeff. Does this mean that Sony is definitely done with the big acquisition game? Did all of those hopes fall through for them? Anything that maybe we thought they were going to do, like Square Enix, is that why they're nervous about this because they don't have any big cards to play here anymore?
It certainly seems like that Square Enix deal is not going to happen. The way Square Enix is behaving, with their, hey, we can't afford to invest in our own developers anymore, so we are welcoming out external investment into our developers, and we're going to work with Tencent and anybody who wants it. And they would not be doing that if they had a buyer imminently waiting in the wings. So my assumption is the market changed, the market landscape changed, interest rates changed, Sony changed their mind, is what it seems like. But, that was always... we always just heard very minor rumblings about that, and it all fit because Square Enix was selling off studios to try to lean themselves down to get acquired. So we were just kind of putting the pieces together, but whatever. I think that you're probably right that Sony is like, listen, we need to, this needs to be our stand. This is what actually matters that we can make a difference in. I think there's a part of it, like this is just different parts of the company. There's lawyers focused on this, and they're not necessarily worried about what other lawyers working on mergers and acquisitions are doing. They just know this is their job to try to make as much noise about this so they can, buy some time and maybe buy some government-backed concessions. Some consent decrees is what they're called. That feels very likely to happen. I'll say that the fighting seems like it's happening in the public, but I am kind of putting on the tinfoil hat and 100% buying into my theory that Jim Ryan, being in the UK, used some phone calls and got in front of some people and explained his point of view to the regulators there and said, you are our best hope for getting something done. And then the parts that are squeaky, and the reason it's going public, and I think the first reason it went public is because Microsoft was like, hey, we said we would give them even more years on top of the current agreement. And I think Microsoft knew what was happening behind the scenes in the UK and was trying to get out ahead of it. And now it's spilling over into public because a lot more noise is happening behind closed doors. All that said, this is probably not going to blow up the deal. It is probably, I think that, he says it, or Sony says it. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality gaming experience. They want guarantees that Call of Duty is there in perpetuity. That is going to be a very long shot that anything like that happens. They probably are going to be like, okay, we said 3 years. That was our starting position in the negotiations. What about 8 years? Could you do that? What about maybe 5 years?
They can't. There's no way they can just be like, you get it forever. Like, what would that even mean? What does that look like? Just who knows what?
Does that mean we have to make Call of Duty even when we don't want to anymore because we said we would do it?
Exactly.
That's crazy. The nuclear weapons start going off. We still have to make Call of Duty for you? No, that's crazy.
It is putting itself in an awkward situation. What if one of these 10 live service games that Sony's making, what if it becomes the biggest game in the world? Is Microsoft going to be able to say, well, they have to put that on Xbox now? That's not fair. Yeah,
I think they are opening themselves up to that argument in the future. Now, again, that would be a pretty tough one to make, but still, the argument PlayStation is making here is that even though Microsoft is going to own this thing, they cannot use it the way they want exclusively. They have to take our desires into consideration. That's a really weird thing to say. It's just a weird thing to suggest. But if they could convince just one major regulatory body in the world that is true, and they're focusing on the UK, they can probably get a consent decree that would be flattened across the entire world and would apply everywhere. And that is the strategy. And I think that it's probably going to end up working out in Sony's favor in the short term, where they probably do get a slightly larger a consideration in terms of the amount of years that Call of Duty will be on there. In the long term, though, it's probably not going to make too much difference. And it could, you're right, the argument could come back to bite them in the ass when Sony tries to make an acquisition, and then Microsoft is right there trying to get in their face and sit and do the same thing to them. And now there will be precedence, and it'll be extra effective because the company on the other side of the last argument was Sony. So it's like, well, fair is fair. So we'll see. All right, Mike, those were the big topics I wanted to talk about this week. We were getting some super chats in. Let's hit some of those, and then we'll start moving on to some of the other things we're going to do this week. What do you say?
That sounds great to me. Ariel Delgado says, Vamos, Konami, Denmei, Silent Hill, no Shanakos.
Thank you very much.
So maybe I should translate this. Let's see. Let's see what.
Is there a translate button there?
Great matches. Translate. I don't know what language it is my problem.
And I just highlight it and like right click it.
Text language. Yeah, come on, Konami, give me Silent Hill. Don't be Knockos. I don't know what Knockos means. But don't be a Knocko, everybody.
Don't be a Knocko. I'm afraid to say it, but I said it anyhow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you watch out. It's going to somehow be a translation for the most offensive term. I was with my niece the other day. Hey, Jay, if you're hearing this, be cool. And it was great. We were hanging out, took her to her soccer practice. It was almost a bad time because she didn't have her soccer shoes and she didn't want to play, but her mom came and brought them. But because she was hanging out with me, she thought it was kind of funny to say things that she couldn't say in front of her parents. And she's like, there's a kid who says a bad word at school. I was like, okay, yeah, you shouldn't say that. She's like, fuck. I was like, no, don't say it. I don't know. Don't do it.
You can't do this to me.
You can't do it to me.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That rules.
No, you're a sweet little child thing. You don't know about these words saying
no. Here's what you do. You be the cool uncle. You be like, listen, you just said a word. It doesn't matter. Just don't ever use the word against someone else. That's when you'll actually get in trouble. That's what matters.
Maybe. We'll see. Because it's, when it's not your kids, it's not necessarily just about the cool or what I think. It's got to be you got to follow them house rules, kiddo.
Yeah, I guess so.
Anyways, thank you very much. Oh, there's another one from Ayo Delgado. Exo Primal looks neat, but I wish it was Dino Crisis. That is still so weird that it's not Dino Crisis, and they still had that character that looked exactly like the Dino Crisis character. But that game's coming anyways, huh?
Yep. And this was an unverified rumor, so I never really talked much about it other than once Exo Primal got announced. It was like, we heard they were working on some Dino Crisis game. My guess is this is the thing that was actually getting made, and people got confused behind the scenes or something. So, yeah.
Isaac Clark says, hi, Beef and Cheddar Brothers in Christ. Mike, tell the story about when you took a date with you to Best Buy to buy Rescue Rangers on DVD. All love from Tennessee. How did you know about this? Date is a strong word, but we were hanging out. I was and the season 1 of Rescue Rangers came on DVD, so I made her take me to Best Buy. She's blasting that song about you and me, baby, aren't nothing but mammals as we're driving over there. I'm just haha, yes, thank you. Please get to Best Buy faster. Then she got there. I was okay, good, bye now. I'm going to watch Rescue Rangers. I had my priorities straight.
That rules.
Big Fresh 37 says, after having a bad time this week, it must come as such a relief to find out today that you and the rest of us are under Jim Ryan's protection. Yes, that's right. He's looking out for us. He's got us. We'll be safe.
Protect the gamers. Jim Ryan in his whitey tighty standing in front of all gamers. Someone do that Photoshop for me. I want that. Yeah. He's a silly man, isn't he?
Remember how mad they got you the one time when you criticized them?
Yeah, and the article.
Not Sony, I mean the gamers.
Yes, the gamers got mad because I was Jim Ryan seems like he could use some help doing his job. I'm at this point, listen, I have no ill will towards him, and he makes them a lot of money, but he definitely seems like he could use a PR person to just stand in his way.
RDX, son of a Fed says, love Microsoft's response to Sony today. Lol.
Yep.
The fight, the cattiness. Everyone's so catty lately, man. We got all this AEW stuff. And
right.
This,
what is going on?
Catty times.
Yeah. You know what's weird is right now in games journalism, there's not a lot of that. For a couple of years, it was always a lot of
catty.
A lot of fighting between games journalists. And we're all kind of at this point hey, we're in this together against the corporations, man.
Been a rough time for game journalists this week.
Yes, it has. A lot of and it's all just a bunch of cowards in charge who are we're spending a bunch of money. It's the good days. We got all this money. We're going to start a video game media business. And then at the first sign that things aren't going well, shut it all down. Fuck all these people. And it's just a bunch of cowards.
Yeah. Super sorry to everybody.
Absolutely.
Future
I'm gonna have a few fanbite people on Game S mornings here in the next couple of days. Everybody.
Well, they're not gonna take my slot, are they?
They are actually. Well,
Oh,
actually,
okay,
I don't
that's
know. The person has to be on Monday.
I'm all right.
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna let him take your spot. I don't care, but.
No, they have my permission, Jeff. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. Nintendo says, finally got a PlayStation 5. Besides the obvious Astro's Playroom, which is a great game. Which games on PlayStation 5 make the best use of the DualSense controller? I still think Miles Morales also felt very good with the DualSense controller, with the whips, the whips and the webs and everything like that. And then I also liked Ratchet and Clank a lot for that still.
Okay. No, let's stop. Has the DualSense lived up to its promise?
No. Well, it's not really. But
not has the implementation of the DualSense lived up to the promise that the DualSense fully made and was capable of.
No, I mean the problem is that Astro, the packing game, is still the best use case of it by far.
By far, yes.
So that is disappointing. I guess it's weird. I wonder, like, has there been a really Gran Turismo was pretty cool with it, like that felt good.
A racing game is I'm glad they did that, and it seems like they got that right. A lot of people really like that. The Last of Us Part 1, though, I've heard isn't very good. I haven't played it, but I've heard a lot of people complaining about the implementation of DualSense stuff there.
Yeah, people like Returnal is a good example.
Yeah, Returnal's pretty good.
But I mean, it does seem like it is so much of a just Sony is the only one who's even really bothering to try with it. And the third parties don't have much going on.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. I didn't want to be the one to say, because I've always kind of stick in the mud about DualSense.
Sure, you're right. I still do like it. I'm still glad it's there. I still think Sony's games will. Like, I'm interested to see what Ragnarok does with it.
Does Deathloop on PC support that? Because I know like DualSense stuff is now like in Steam. So I wonder if that version actually supports that. I should check it. I mean, I could just play Deathloop on PS4. I think I have it there too, but whatever. Keep going, Mike. Sorry.
You're not forgiven. Lucius Augustus says, Jeff, where are you on Naruto?
I am nearly to the point where I said I was going to at least get to episode 50. I'm right before the Rock Lee fight where he fights the guy with the gourd. I actually can never remember his name. Garen, the sand guy. I am waiting until after I do. I'm going to do a Naruto chat tonight with Christian for the Patreon supporters. And anyone who's in the podcast producers channel. I'll do that tonight, and then I will go. Actually, I have to work out tonight still, so I might start that arc tonight, or that part of the arc tonight. So probably like episode 45, 46, in that range.
Christian says you're on 48. He probably would know better than you.
He does know better than me. 48. I'm on episode 48.
Thrak says, I've been playing Assassin's Creed 1 and been really enjoying it. Which games in the series should I play next? You should play 2.
Play Brotherhood.
Play 2 and Brotherhood. Brotherhood is a direct sequel to 2. If he likes 1, you should play 2. You'll like 2 also.
Yes.
Brotherhood's the best. And
then if you don't like 2, don't skip Brotherhood. Play Brotherhood for sure.
Okay. I think he's gonna like 2 if he liked 1.
Yeah.
But and then if you like those, Revelation is still probably worth playing. It's not as good, but it's if you want to, because that is a trilogy too. Sure. Brotherhood and Revelations. Then
4.
3 gets mixed responses. I like it. The other one that everybody likes is 4, the pirate one. So yeah.
And then after that, we'll come back here. If you play through all those, come back here and ask us again. We'll help you again at that point.
Honestly though, if you like Assassin's Creed 1, and you're enjoying that, I say just go sequentially for a while until you find one you don't like, and then skip to 4. And then if you don't like that one either, maybe you're kind of done until you get to the RPG era. You can see if you like those ones. Joseph Schmidt says, after an awesome direct, love seeing Yakuza 8 at all announcements, but is Octopath Traveler an instrument, and will there be mayonnaise?
Yes and yes.
There you go.
You're welcome.
Pawnee Puri, do you guys have concerns about PlayStation first-party content in the first half of 2023? With no big showcase, it seems like that the other first-party studios aren't ready with their games. Yeah, when he said this, Jeff, I read this. I was wondering.
I think there might not be much. And again, I'm also not worried, because the word is Spider-Man 2 looking shit hot, looking real good, and people are like, apparently Marvel and Disney are just freaking out about how good it is. And I'm like, okay, I will wait. I am good. If that's coming, what am I really going to complain? Like, no. Make a games is hard right now. We get it. let's get to Spider-Man 2, and then we'll reassess at that point. Maybe the first half of next year will be a little dry for PlayStation. I am not that worried about it.
Because that'll probably be their holiday game. We don't have, like, anything in that Horizon Forbidden West slot we had this year. Now, I don't know. Maybe, could there be something? Are they just waiting until
possibly
after Gears of War comes out to say, hey, look, this is something you didn't even know is this close to being done? And maybe it won't be as big as something like that. Remember how they used to release the smaller Ratchet and Clank games?
Yes.
Maybe we could get that or something? I don't know.
You
What
said
was that
Gears
reaction?
of War.
Why'd you do that?
You said Gears of War.
Excuse me. Okay, come on. Give me a break. No one's made that mistake before.
So I didn't stop you. I just needed to react that way. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I do seem pretty jazzed about the Ragnarok trailer. We'll get to that. Let's keep going through these super chats.
Yes, more from Panty Puri again. Why is Jim Ryan behaving like he'll be fired if Microsoft did acquire ABK, Activision Blizzard? Do you see this acquisition causes a shakeup at PlayStation? I don't think Jim Ryan's job's on the line. I don't think anybody mandates him. If this goes through, you're out.
I mean, his job is not on the line. Sony's stock price very much is.
Yeah.
Sony's stock price over like the last year has dropped a huge amount. Let's see, a year. It's down 35% in the last year. And that's why you see things like them raising the price of the console while also saving money by making a cheaper version of the console. Every single dollar that PlayStation makes right now is so important because PlayStation's the one reliable thing. And if they're leaving money on the table, they probably do feel like they're fucking up a little bit. So maybe when we talk about Jim Ryan, we should kind of always put this context out there that he is sort of the one money making. He's like the one captain of the gang that's actually reliably making money for this outfit, and everyone else, the camera guy and the TV guy, all dropping the ball. And so he's kind of putting the company on his back a little bit. And so when he makes decisions and when he comes down, he's aggressive in weird ways. Even if he's not good at it, he still is going after it in a way where it's like he has to. He's feeling so much pressure because this company is just not in a healthy position in terms of its other parts of the network there. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's like that is probably where they feel pressure and the disadvantage is that Microsoft is Microsoft. If they somehow lost the gaming division, it would suck, but they would be okay. There would not be a Sony anymore if they suddenly couldn't have PlayStation.
Yep. It's just it's just a bit rough over there in total, and it's not like their competitors aren't feeling the same thing exactly. Nintendo's doing great. Their stock price goes up and down a little bit, but overall it's up usually. And then Microsoft, of course, is a rock and isn't going anywhere.
Snake, Link, Sonic. That's great. What would your handle be if it was just the name of your 3 favorite video game characters, Jeff? Would it be Agent 47, Wario, Link?
It'd be Wario Tingle 47.
Wario Tingle. That's actually not a bad handle.
Yeah. Snake Link Sonic he goes way back, even further than you. Me and him used to run in the AOL Nintendo chat room together back in the 90s, back in the actual literal 1990s. So
cool.
I've known him for a very, very, very long time. What do you have to say for himself?
Well, he just sent us he calls it his gamer protection fee.
So. You're safe. We'll make sure Jim gets his cut. You don't worry. You're safe this month.
It's a pyramid, right?
Yep.
It's going to go up to the top.
Damn, Jeff is old. Jesus, yes, yeah, I am.
Stephen Hart says, Jeff, you seem pretty jazzed about that Ragnarok trailer. Do you think you'll give 2018 another shot before the game comes out?
Yes, I got the Steam Deck. I'm getting it downloaded on there again, and I'm gonna try it on there. If I feel like I need actually all the graphical effects, I'll just pop it on the PC or PS5. I actually have it. It's in that closet back there on disc, so I guess I could just get it out.
Wow. What's that? What's a disc?
Yeah, I know exactly. They sent it to me. So yes, the plan is I want to give it another try here in like the next couple of days. So I want to beat Tiny Ken, and then I'm going to move on to that.
There you go. That's it for the Super Chats for now, Jeff. We want to take a smallish break, and then we can come back.
I do indeed.
Community questions, and we'll get more Super Chats. You guys send those in. We will, in fact, read those before the end of the show. Everybody gets rad around here.
Thanks, everybody. Stick around. All right, Mike, we're good. All right, Mike, he's going to take a break. You guys think Mike is Mike wearing pants or were those boxers, you think? Couldn't tell. Sweet Mike piss time. All right, what's
I
up?
don't know.
Gara, right?
Gara.
Gara.
There
It's
we
a
go.
skin suit. Oh, good. Wow, he's Donald Ducking. Boxer briefs. Let's see. What do I think I have boxer briefs on right now. What am I feeling about Gara vibes wise? I'm feeling scared. He's a scary little kid. He's like
They've
the
been
kid from
building him up.
what's that?
They've been building him up.
Oh yeah,
Like the show.
Akabaru is afraid of him.
Yeah,
So I'm afraid of him.
The dog, you trust the dog.
I trust the dog.
My dog is scared, no matter what. I'm scared too.
I've not had any glitch
scared.
issues with Tiny Kin that I can remember. No. Did you like the original God of War games, Jeff? All the ones I played, yes. I played the original.
Oh, yeah.
I played 1, and I think I played 3, and I really like both of those. I know I should go back and play 2, and I never did.
I play every God of War game except the new ones.
I love those old ones. Those were great.
The PSP, I play the fucking Vita
Carl listens to
one.
9 Inch Nails.
Yeah. Oh, God of War, especially like after 3, it gets hella anime. When you climbing those titans and shit.
Yes.
That's the most anime shit ever.
2 is the best for
I
sure.
really like those.
Yeah, I know people really like 2. So, did anyone play
Remember
Ascension?
when, like,
No.
God of War
I will
was,
go back
like-
and play Ascension.
I remember like God of War being like this like game like, oh, it's so like casual and everybody can like pick it up and like play, and now it's like, oh, now we're premier gaming. We're like top of the top, $70 storytelling dip.
I'm back.
Handle
back,
these
everybody.
feelings, motherfuckers.
Chris
Yeah, we're
Krause.
so close to 100 likes. Thumbs up, please.
Thumbs up, please.
Thumbs up.
Oh, I didn't hit it. There we go.
Wow.
Wow, you're out of here.
Jesus.
Well,
Yeah.
they made Reese's cups with Reese's Puffs in them. That's actually pretty good. Oh, Shane
Wait, what's a Reese's Puff?
Benhausen, he retweeted this, said, "Who asked for this?" Like, I didn't ask for it, but I'm not mad that it happened.
The Reese's. Okay, yeah.
It's got the cereal inside. That's
Right,
a good
I was like
cereal.
trying to think, what was the Reese's Puff? I'm like, oh yeah, the cereal.
I think I like the cereal more than the candy bar, actually.
I think
Yeah,
that
well-
cereal is among
I
the
will give a
pantheon of cereals that
forgiveness
hurts
to
my
everyone
mouth.
who hits the like button.
You'll get
Sorry.
it for people who hit the like button. What?
Yes. Now people is like, oh, I forgot. Please forgive me. We'll forgive you if you do it now.
Well, a lot of people did just hit the like button, it looks like, so we're good. Thank
Big
you.
Fresh, I
everybody.
will not be
Okay,
saying that.
Thank you.
People keep trying to get me on a podcast with David Jaffe, and I'm like, I might do it just because
Why?
I don't think you should.
I don't think I should. But I might
No.
do
But
it.
you do you.
But because I make
mean,
poor
you do
decisions all the
whatever fuck you
time.
want.
I'll tell him to his face that I think you're kind of weird and I don't like you, and I think he would just be like, "This is great content."
What?
First Amendment, and I'd be like, "Okay, all right, I'm gonna go now.
Debate
You just
me.
keep talking."
Chef, debate me. Why don't you like
Yeah.
me? Debate me.
Daffy seems like the Jim Cornette of video gaming right
That
now.
is
If anybody knows what-
that is very good. Yes,
Kinda
Jeffy
just old
sucks up
man
too
yelling
much
at
energy.
clouds.
I agree, Jerry. He is like a black hole for conversation, actually, which is the real reason. Oh, I think I hit the ad button again. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, he sucks up too much energy, which is why I don't want to actually have. I have it blocked, or at least I did. I might have unblocked him, but whatever. Is he
Let's
actually
get back
making
to it.
games? I mean, no one's paying him to. He might be, but no one's paying him to.
Okay, back to the podcast.
Yes. Okay. Where are we at? Let me get the this up.
Jack, they didn't show the quartering yet. No. I thought he retired.
I
He
don't.
made a whole shtick about retiring the quartering.
Oh, I don't. Who gives a shit?
Who does, actually?
Yeah, he was. I would never believe anything he has ever said.
That's
here.
true. I guess I'm not surprised that
Yeah.
that was a lie. But yeah.
All right, podcast producers, and then we are going to questions for Game Mess Decides. Okay, let us get into this, everybody. I'm going to bring us back. All right, Mike, is your bladder feeling better?
Yes, sir.
The Better Bladder Boys are ready to get into the podcast producers channel, where Laushin asks, "Hello, gents. Hope your week improved after Tuesday. Hey, Jeff, Atomic Pink Eye Grubb, and Mike Minotti. Thanks to Grubb, my daughter's got pink eye. No questions this week. Thanks for great content and haters be hating. P.S. Mike, it is too good to let it die." Miss Naughty, I think he's talking about.
Oh, I was like, what? Wait, what's dying? Me? No, right. Yes, agree.
So your
But, yeah,
daughter got
your
pink eye
eyes look
too?
pretty
Sorry about
white.
that.
Your eyes look pretty white, Jeff. I think you were earned to clear. You didn't get pink
Yes,
eye.
no, I'm doing okay. I feel a little bit of the crusty. I think mostly I was just tired that night. Emmy did catch it though, So it went from the 3-year-old to the 5-year-old, and Emmy's got all those eye issues. It's not great. So
that sucks.
Although hers isn't as red. She's just kind of getting some gunk. I'm like wondering if she's had it so many times that I wonder if she's just been built up a tolerance to it or something and can fight it off herself. We'll see though. Let's see, from Gruntilda's ass.
Yay.
Hey dudes, what games do you have on the lineup for October / Halloween? I recently came across Pumpkin Jack, and it was actually pretty decent. Pumpkin Jack is a good game.
Which one is that? I don't even know about Pumpkin Jack.
What is the one with the skeleton? Medieval,
yeah.
So Pumpkin Jack is sort of one of those, but you play as a scarecrow with a pumpkin for a head.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. It's got like RTX and stuff. It's cool. It's like it came out like a year ago, 2 years ago. It's good.
There was that humble bundle of all those Resident Evil games, so I'm very excited to kind of play through a lot of those. There's a lot of them I had never really beaten, like the original, including the remake of it.
Let's do it.
3 remakes.
Mike, let's do it. 5 and 6, baby. I will play with you. 5 and 6. Let's do it.
I've done 5 before, and I've actually had 5. You know who I played 5 with? Remember Beige from back
in
1?
Yeah, Beige is great.
Beige was the great.
Beige picked up my wife from the airport in Toronto when I couldn't get across the border for a little bit.
Where's Beige? Why isn't Beige hanging out?
I know he was the best of us. We don't actually deserve him. People, this is an inside thing. We're reminiscing, but you would all love Beige. He was incredible.
But me and Jeff were first talking with each other on the internet. It was on whatup.com's like message boards. You could make your own little groups there. And there was a group there with the Squadron of Shame. Chris Person was in there who does, the highlight reel. So so a few of us made it, I guess. But Beige was always the one we all thought was cool. He was the daddy of the group, and we loved Beige.
Well, he was the most eloquent and well read and everything. And his you could tell you like understood literature and stuff. He was just smarter than the rest of us. So yeah,
he's very cool. But yes, I played through Resident Evil 5's co-op with him, and it was a great time. Like the game has story problems and some other small problems, but it's a fun game to play co-op. 6 is supposed to be bad. I only ever played the demo and didn't like it. That would be fun to play.
Well, okay, let's play 6 then.
Yeah, maybe we should play 6. The community game or the Game Mess Game Club is going to pick a spooky game for October, and I am going to put Resident Evil 1's remake as one of the options. But even if it doesn't win, I will probably play through that at some point. But there's lots of things I want to maybe play through. There was that PlayStation 2 Nightmare Before Christmas sequel game.
Yeah, there you go.
That's like it's like kind of Devil May Cry-ish. It's made by Capcom, I think.
I'm gonna play through the Muppets Monster game on PlayStation 1, where like the Muppets can dress up as different monsters and get their powers. It's actually a really good 3D platformer for the PlayStation.
Yeah. I love Christmas. But sure. Halloween is definitely the gamers' holiday, right? There's just so many.
Yes.
You could do a whole month easy just doing nothing but spooky games, and it's so hard. Like there's so many of them that there are some that even though they're filled with like literally characters like Dracula and Frankenstein, like Castlevania, I don't even associate them with Halloween.
Yep.
We just have so many.
Good question, Gertilda's ass. So I say that every week, though, of course. Fluffy Cloud Gamer. Hi, Jeff and Mike. This has been a rough week for the game media industry with all the layoffs.
Yeah.
A lot of really wonderful people are now out of a job because of the greed and impatience of corporations. As someone who at one point wanted to get into the industry, seeing this happen frequently is really discouraging. Do you think trying to break into the industry is even worth it at this point? If so, would you bother trying to work for outlets who will cut you in a second, or work independently without getting business benefits like healthcare? Sorry for the depressing topic, but just curious about your perspective. Yeah, if I were trying from scratch today, I would be trying YouTube, YouTube and Patreon, and Twitch and TikTok.
That sucks. It's hard, Jeff, because I mean,
of course it does.
That's not necessarily the same skill set, and there are probably people who don't necessarily want to be on camera. They don't want to.
Yeah, it's been decimated.
Personalities.
Yeah,
they just want to write about video games, and they're good writers, and they should be able to do that. But we talked a lot about our entry to this business, and that avenue doesn't really exist anymore. These kind of digging in on this weird startup, basically writing on it for free. And then that, I've been really fortunate. I've basically have never been fired from a games media job, knock on wood. So I always have like a little bit of survivor's guilt about these things, I guess. It's rough. But even my site, like, one of the reasons it has been secure is because we don't have to make our money from like the journalism. We make our money through events. And it's just so hard to see the path forward for a lot of these sites when it's just we are making money just by writing about video games. It's a tough field.
Yeah, it's you know, if you're really trying to do this and you want to like break into the writing side, and I don't know if that's what you're saying you want to do, but if it is, I would do something along the lines of find a niche on Twitter, on social media, and just 100% go after that. Something like Benji Sales did this, and just in the last couple of years, he's like, listen, I'm just going to talk about the sales of games that are doing really well, and then a few things that sort of go along that theme. And he's really succeeded at that. It really worked for him. And you can then leverage that into something like a newsletter. You could go to one of the newsletter sites and say, listen, I'm going to put all the stuff that I've earned through covering this stuff and learning about it over the last couple of years into, a quick digest of information that I think will be helpful to a certain audience. Maybe not a huge audience, but an audience that wants to know about this stuff. And you could probably scrape by making something from that. Now, you make a great point. Without healthcare, this is why so many of your favorite YouTubers are from Canada and from the UK and from all these other countries that have healthcare just baked into their system. It is such an advantage that, of course, you can't give that stuff up. So you have to go work the job. And that, it makes it so much. If you don't start when you're a kid, if you don't start when you're in college, you're missing the boat. You got to start as soon as possible. But I'll say that if you start now and you be consistent about it, you have a chance. You just got to find your own path, because the path that me and Mike had doesn't exist anymore. Whenever you see people who have succeeded, like there's a lot of people with huge Patreon followings, and you could go and ask them how they did it, and it would not help you at all. It would be zero help because you cannot replicate it.
Yeah, and I always feel I don't want to discourage anybody because again, I got mine, and you should be able to get yours, right?
Yeah, I'm different, but you're going to have to find a new path. That's all. And the path that me and Mike used was different than the one the people we grew up reading. They went into a chat room, and it was the right chat room. That was honestly most of the people I grew up reading went to vid games on IRC, and they all met each other there, and they all got each other jobs. And I went to the AOL Nintendo chat with Snake League Sonic, and now here we are. And so I had to find a different path because I went to the wrong chat room. Oh well. I eventually did find my own path, but my path is going to have to be different than yours too. That's all I'm saying. From Winnie, hello Jeff, the one with pink eye, Grubb, and Mike, the one with two brown eyes, Minotti.
True.
What podcast do you listen to? Jeff has mentioned listening to a few to stay hip to the jive of the youth. I listen to a lot. I can get my phone out. Mike, how about you?
My favorite podcast. Well, there's some Disney podcasts I listen to.
Yeah, just whatever you listen to. It doesn't have to be any.
Retro WEW does a monthly show, and they always have like a random retro gaming Nintendo or Disney theme there. If that sounds like 90s Disney, but just more broad, it is. I never said I was an original person. I like the there's a kind of a history sort of I don't even know what to call it. A humanities podcast called the Thomas Jefferson Hour, about this guy who is one of those people who they do impersonations of historical figures. He does that for people, including Thomas Jefferson, and sometimes he'll be Jefferson on his show. But a lot of times they're just kind of talking about current events and things like that. And it's a really interesting. It's nice and thoughtful. Which I'm surrounded by a lot of media, so it's kind of nice to have that a bit more. I don't know. It seems more important, so that one's good for me.
I'll go through some of my favorites here real quick. 90s Disney is pretty good. Hey. I like that one a lot. It's once a month, maybe twice a month.
You're going alphabetical, aren't you? That's why that one's first.
Yes. A More Civilized Age is the one good Star Wars podcast. No offense to anyone who's listening who might have a Star Wars podcast. It feels like there's a non-zero possibility of that. But it's like Austin Walker's podcast he does with his friends about the Clone Wars, and it's a rewatch podcast. But they have some of the only really good discussions about Star Wars that you can actually listen to. Let's see. I love Business Wars. I've talked about this one before. They do 6 to 7 episode arcs about Pepsi versus Coke and Levi versus whatever the other gene company is, and it's all narrative. It's one guy doing a bunch of voices, although they've started to bring in other voice actors in case the person that he's talking as is black or a woman. So they actually have black people or actual females come in there and do those voices, which is nice. Let's see. I'm just going to skip through. I don't want to do everything.
That's funny. David Redicop, I was just thinking about this History of English podcast. I actually was going to say that, David. It's just podcast about the history of the English language. So that one's pretty fun. If you're into like what's that, like etymology and things like that.
I like Kind of Funnies in review, especially when they're reviewing a series I really like. They just did one on Rocky, and that was great to listen to them go through all the 6 Rocky movies. That was fun. They're not always like my actual favorite movie podcast is it was Slash Filmcast. Now it's just called The Filmcast. They're very different. The Filmcast is very good at like breaking movies down and being very thoughtful about it. And Kind of Funny is just like, was it hype or not? But I think there's space for both those kinds of conversations. And then I'm trying to find any others I'm really into, and then I'll stop.
There's that one podcast that just came out. It's like one of the most popular ones. It's a true crime podcast.
Crooked City.
Crooked City, and it's about Youngstown, Ohio.
Yes, it is.
So, I gotta listen to that at some point. It's supposedly really good.
And if there is one podcast I could recommend, it would actually probably be Business Wars, because I think it's so much fun, and it's really easy to get work done when you're listening to it. But the other one would be Till Death Do Us Blart, which is a podcast that comes out once a year on American Thanksgiving, where every year the crew watches what is the movie Blart? Paul Blart 2.
Paul Blart 2.
Yes, they only watch Paul Blart 2, and then they discuss it every single year, and they've done this for 6-7 years now. So yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. I like
about
podcasts.
The Kojima podcast. You didn't.
Oh yeah, right.
One
Of course, Kojima podcast exclusive to Spotify, so I totally listened to it. I've listened to the half of the first one, and boy, it was not very good. But whatever, Kojima, get your money. From Danger Man Leet, Jeff and Mike, with the state of play come and gone, will we see maybe another event this year to give us a good idea of Sony's 2023 slate, especially first half of the year? So I mean, more people are wondering about the first half of next year. I suppose that even after that event, you're right, we didn't get much filled in for that first 6 months, and that doesn't mean that they won't have another thing to like show us more. They could have something in February, March even, and then put something out in April or whatever.
They could show a couple things at the Game Awards if they really want to. I don't know if they need to do another event this year.
Let's see. From the Uncharted Wolf 5. Hey, Jeff, stop reading the questions out of order each time, Grubb. No. And Mike, you don't have to say the 5 at the end of my username, Minotti.
Thank you.
Like everyone else on planet Earth, I was blown away by the new God of War trailer. One moment stood out to me in particular, though. That was the Kratos versus Thor fight. I predict that this will be the final boss, and with that comes lofty expectations. Real quick, he's got more here, but it's definitely not the final boss, because they're going to want to give you Thor's hammer to play with throughout most of that game. It's going to be like Odin a third of the way through.
Odin will be the final boss. They say that this is the last of a duology, so you're going to beat up Odin at the end.
Thor will not die in that first fight, but that fight that you saw is going to be in the first act. I almost guarantee it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Let's see. I need this to be the greatest fight in all of gaming, considering it's been built up since the last game and is in a final clash of the themes of the entire God of War series, which is something I could talk about for hours. Anything less than perfect in this game is a disappointment. I'm obviously using hyperbole, but have you guys ever put massive expectations on a part of a game as specific as a boss fight? I don't know if I've ever gotten that specific with my hype. It's mostly like,
think so.
I need it to surprise me, so I don't even know what to get hyped about. I just know that this game needs to be. I mean, Breath of the Wild, I was just like, man, what if it's this? What if they really are gonna like do an open world version of the original Legend of Zelda, and it's gonna have all these like physics? Like I was like kind of like hoping and predicting what it turned out to be, and so when that happened and it surpassed my expectations, it was incredible. But it's like that was an example of having high expectations in it, but it wasn't about any one specific part that I saw in a trailer or anything like that. How about you, Mike? Anything?
I don't know. For some reason, I'm just thinking of that Breath of the Wild trailer, and when Rivali was in for a second, and he like kind of spun in the air, it was like ha ha ha, and like, it's when the exciting music was playing. I was like, I want to see that in context.
Yes,
and it was not as good in context as it was cut out of context in that trailer.
Yep. From Velocity Prime, hello, Mike, Clownface Minotti, and Jeff past the grease paint Grubb. Why don't you ink the bases in Splatoon? You keep saying you'll do it again after you respond, but then you don't. Explain the strategy.
Yes, we do.
I do.
I have never lost a game because the base wasn't inked. The base gets inked. You're gonna die. It's important to start making ground in the middle.
Yeah, you need to contest the ground in the middle immediately. You need to show them that you got to put them back on their heels. You really do. You got to start getting some kills so they can't just run wild on you. there's so much more to the game than just, and inking your base where they haven't painted is worth half the points than covering their ink. Now, that doesn't mean that inking the base should never be done. You definitely do it on the way out next time. You create a path to get out quickly, and then when you come back, if there's no obvious fight to get to, you could start creating a second path and third, and you start turning around, and as you're moving forward, you can turn around and shoot behind you. I mean, the base always gets covered. I like all of my matches, the bases get covered.
If it's like, I don't know, 45 seconds left and you notice there's a big spot missing in your base, then yes, the next time you spawn, go out of your way and get it. But I've never. I think this is people finding excuses for why they're losing online so much. Oh, if only my teammates inked our base more.
Yeah, it's it is very basic level strategy. It's where I'm at. Like, we've been playing this for a long time now. We could see that the teams that win, the teams that I've had the hardest time with, are the most aggressive teams. Those are the teams that win the most. They are not staying back in their base, worried about every little square inch there. They are pushing and playing offense. It is really an offense-only game. There is no real way to play defense in Splatoon. You're either getting kills or you're covering more ground. And those are both offensive tactics. And anything else is a waste of time, honestly.
So what you're saying is that it's not all about that base.
No, in fact, it's not. She ruined Splatoon, is what I'm trying to say. I can't remember her name. Yeah. Megan the Stallion is the one that's singing that song.
Megan the Stallion.
G-Man, sir. Hey, Mike, squeeze me, daddy, Miss Naughty. And Jeff did nothing wrong to Grubb. I did a lot wrong. When will 30-plus-year-old American journalists stop claiming that Metroid is part of Nintendo's Big Three? I can name 15 franchises that sell better, 10 that get higher priorities by Nintendo, and 5 that are of the same quality.
I said I used to think this. It's because we all read EGM, okay?
Yeah.
EGM talked about Metroid a lot.
Super Metroid was the #1 game of all time in the top 100, yeah.
And I was like, I agree with this. This is a very, and the only thing I didn't have access to was sales numbers. So... Metroid just seemed very important back then.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I guess it's not. That's a shame. Well, it should be.
Maybe it's not Nintendo's Big Three. Is it one of the most influential games of all time? Easily.
Sure. There's more to life than sales.
Top 10, 100% top 10 most influential games of all time. Maybe top 5. Maybe not top 3, but not far off. Epic Open World. Hey, Beef Boys. After the GamesIndustry.biz article sparking another round of discussions about leaks, is there a middle ground the industry and media can come to where both can continue to do their jobs?
That was terrifying when I saw you retweet that. It was like a picture of Wind Waker. Just talking let's talk about leaks. I was like, oh no.
It was actually.
I became the news.
It was a really well thought out article where he's just saying, I don't like it, which is like, that's the way you argue it. You're like, hey, I don't like this.
He went out of his way to say, now those two people, not saying their names, weren't lying, I'm sure, and stuff like that. So it was completely fair.
Totally. I don't know. I think the middle ground already exists. I don't think this is actually a problem. People don't like all kinds of things. I don't like all kinds of things, and usually what I do is I ignore them. Now, I understand the issue here is you could try to ignore the leaks, but they do become very loud, which is one of the main reasons I felt so bad this week, is because the loudest stuff was the Wind Waker, Twilight Princess stuff. It like the article said, it was like the headline for people covering the stuff. It was just so
We're all trying to find the people responsible for this.
Who did this? So I feel bad about that because it's so loud. It became impossible to ignore, and that was not our intent. We have no way of controlling the way people cover the stuff. We did want to get people talking. I did not think it was going to go like that.
Well, what the problem was, there was a thing where we were talking about it
for 2 weeks.
Nobody seemed to notice.
Right.
So I was like, that's it. The September 1st episode, we are literally naming it. There will be a Nintendo Direct in September. And the first thing I said was all this about Wind Waker and whatnot.
Yeah.
So.
But we are gonna. I'm gonna keep doing my job the way I've done it. I'm gonna be a little bit more careful, like with the specifics of it. But I write for the readers. I report. I do my show for the audience. And I know what they want to hear. It's very clear what everyone wants to hear. And it's like, hey, I want to understand how this industry is working, what's happening next, and why that stuff is happening next. And I think GamesIndustry.biz is very much like, hey, we do want to have conversations with Jim. I mean, Jim Ryan only talks to GamesIndustry.biz and Chris String. Like, he only, every time something happens, that's the only site getting a quote. And that's important, but it's a very different thing than what I found myself doing. And I think that it's great that both exist. From Ogdo. Yo, Jeff plus Mike. Nobody likes CGI trailers. Fuck them. But have there ever been any that you liked? The Dead Island one is infamous, but kind of pretentious and not representative of the game. The only one I could think of is the reveal trailer for Hitman 2016, which had amazing music, editing, and overall style. Can you think of any that you enjoyed?
I really like, we were just talking about Assassin's Creed Revelation, a very mid Assassin's Creed game. The CG trailer for that was actually very good. Best part of that game. It was even better than it was, like, because the trailer of it had that really good song by Woodkid or something. Really cool, felt really impactful. A lot of drama there. It was like the Altair ghost, and Ezio's gonna get killed, and at the last second he like fights back. Even in the game, it's not nearly as good because instead it just has some lame voiceover or something. But as a trailer, the Revelations video. I remember even at E3 at the Ubisoft booth, they had the giant TV and they were playing trailers on loop, and I was in line for something. Every time that one came up, I'm like, yes, this is very good. I'm very excited.
I think
Wicked Iron was the song. Thank you, Knooble.
The best CGI trailer was the one for I can't remember what the game is. All that matters is that Steely Dan was the music in it, and all the CGI, they could have left that out just as long as they were playing the Steely Dan song. And then he says, a P.S. Jeff, please put on your sunglasses and give us your best / worst Jack Nicholson impression. Okay, let me try here. Where does he get those wonderful toys? Is that good?
Well, it's good that you tried.
From Colin. Hello, boys. Can you talk about your Chris String's article by chance, or your feelings on leaks in the industry overall? You guys are the best, and I think you know that your value extends beyond giving us secrets. But I wonder if there's a time for reflection on leaking, which is a sub-industry in its own right. Much love, Colin. Yeah, obviously we just talked about it a little bit, but I think we've reflected on leaking frequently. I have, at least. I mean, Mike, you haven't had much chance to do it, so it's not like, I don't know.
Right. I mean,
what are your thoughts on it right
tipping
now?
My toes into getting into that more, like you, and I'm like, maybe this water's a little cold.
Maybe it's
chilly for Mikey.
Right. It's not exactly worth it, and I think I've made that pretty clear over time that is not the exact thing that I'm in this business to do. I am trying to help people understand why these decisions get made. What happens is the coverage that happens based on what I say almost invariably strips that out, because they just care about the leaks. They don't care about the insight that I think I'm trying to provide. And I can appreciate that. Like, I'm just some schmuck, but the people that do come to me, that's who I'm working for. That's all I actually care about. That's all I can really control. So when I provide a leak, usually it will come with extra context, and that's where I'm going to retreat to there a little bit, and not just be like, here's what's going to be in the Nintendo Direct, because that was just a bad idea all around, and we've talked about that a lot on Tuesday. So, but overall, I think that Chris String article was fair, although it did, I think it mischaracterized what we were doing. It did leave out that part. Like, it's like, we're just leaking for the sake of leaking. That's not what we were ever doing, really. Or in this case, maybe we were a little bit, but that's not what we do typically. From One Up versus CPU, how big do you think Zelda, the Tears of the Kingdom is? Man, a TOTK. I had to think for a second.
Yeah, right. Every time, that's not used to that.
Yeah,
that sounds like a PlayStation 1 2D side scroller talked.
Yeah, Totik. I'm gonna call it.
It's like Tobo. It's like you're gonna play as a caveman or something.
Yeah.
Is that Tobo? That's something else.
The hieroglyph suggests there's 7 tiers to collect, and it looks like Calamity Ganon has overtaken major areas on the ground. So I imagine this Hyrule will be as different as Link to the Past's Dark World.
Yeah, it'll be different, but more so than that, you're probably going, like you say, you meant to collect 7 things. That sounds a lot like the old Zelda formula, at least in terms of how we will have dungeons to explore. And I think that alone, if you spend the collective amount of 10 hours across these 7 dungeons, probably even more than that, maybe 15 hours. That alone, those are each going to be self-contained, very different, and not part of that overworld. That alone is going to help it feel pretty different and big on top of the overworld.
I agree. From Bench JC, hello, Meatmen. With the power of video games comes the power of time travel, the ability to get lost in a game and wake up, quote unquote, wake up, and realize hours have went by in real life and that you have neglected your responsibilities. Have any games given you this magical experience? Many of them. Most recently, Elden Ring, a little Fortnite, but like Civilization is famous for that. Just stay up all night, one more turn. A lot of games do that. I mean, Breath of the Wild did that for me for sure. I don't love that experience. That is, it feels like you're not even participating in the choice to stay up all night and let the day go by. Wake up on a Saturday and spend all Saturday playing games. I love the actual experience, but the fact that much time has gone by and I haven't done much else, I always come away with a little bit of guilt.
That's fair. It definitely happens. What sticks with me more is like I'm always at that point where I think I'm about to beat a game and it's like midnight. It's like, well, if I play for another hour, I'll beat it. And then, of course, it's much longer than I think, but I'm still stubborn about beating it. So that's how I had a lot of like staying up till 5, 6, 7 a.m. playing games. And I remember specifically doing that for things like Metal Gear Solid 2. And there was like this weird feeling about credits rolling and it's like 5 a.m. And it's this weird vibe that I kind of liked.
From Millie Bitchell.
Nice.
Hey, Pod Pals. Between Jeff raising 2 small children and Mike's bachelor lifestyle, this question may not be in your wheelhouse, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I'm rebellious like that.
Ooh.
What does your sleeping routine look like? Under what conditions do you sleep best? How many pillows are enough? Love you all and the community you've made. I am in the point of my life with the 2 small kids where it is about how everyone else sleeps, and all the stuff with me sleeping is very much an afterthought.
Oh God, this is why I can't do what you do.
Yeah, I gotta. So I often I'm trying to get Emmy to fall asleep, and I'll just fall asleep in bed right next to her, or I will lay down on this couch over here and fall asleep, and I'll wake up and it'll be like the middle of the night. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go take myself to bed. And so at this point, I'm just like getting sleep where I can. That's the routine, which is no routine at all.
Yeah, it's off. I sleep a lot. I like to sleep. I struggle to get naps out of my routine. I was good for a bit, and I slipped back into it a little bit this week, so I got to get out of it. On the weekends, I can sleep in like crazy. I need 2 pillows for the head, and I have my other 2 pillows flanking my left side. The right side is the end of the bed, and then just so I can rest my arm and my one leg on it sometimes, and then here I'll have my Surface, my laptop, so if I want to watch something, I can do this and watch some stupid cooking video or some video game thing or something.
Yeah, I have 1 pillow and never anything else really. Maybe occasionally.
What? You have 1 pillow?
Sometimes not even that.
Jet, what do you mean not even that? You need a pillow.
No, I don't.
Yeah, what do you? I know you have a lot of hair, but it can't be enough to support that massive head.
I just sometimes it makes me
Jeff,
feel like
you don't have a big head. I didn't mean that.
Wow. You see what I deal with? The abuse. I didn't even hear it, honestly, when you said it. Yeah, I'm not a pillow guy. I don't.
Are you a My Pillow guy?
Right. I'm not a pillow guy. I'm a My Pillow guy.
Don't go to Hardee's.
Yeah, I guess. The Queen Got Bopped says, happy...
I'm sorry, how do you mean you're not a pillow guy? Everyone's a pillow guy. That's not a battle line thing. I
never said it was a battle line thing. I just don't need them, and often they make me more uncomfortable.
I can't believe... That's insane.
Now, if I had a Kakashi body pillow, maybe I would be a pillow guy.
Is there a Naruto... Do you have a Naruto waifu yet?
No, maybe just Naruto and Kakashi. And those are my husbandos.
Husbandos, gotcha.
I don't know. I guess when I sleep on my side, I use a pillow to keep my head even, and that's it. A lot of times I'll sleep on my stomach, and I will get rid of the pillow. And if I ever lay flat on my back, which I kind of can't because I'll snore really bad, but if I do, no pillow.
All right.
All right. The Queen Got Bopped says, happy Friday, and they crossed it out. Thursday, Jeff judges you with pink eye shades, Grubb, and Mike judges you with an Arby's hat on, Minotti.
That's true.
More a question for Mike. How do you feel about all the Overwatch 2 news dropping today? You mean the news that Mike Minotti wrote?
That's right. Yeah, I don't know. I was saying from the very beginning how skeptical, or not, I don't know, skeptical. I was like, I think this is going to be worse for me. The fact that it's not just, a premium game and then loot boxes. So, for people who don't know, new characters are going to be on the battle pass kind of going forward. At first, some of them are going to be free, but the way it's going to work is there's a premium battle pass and a free one. In the premium battle pass, you'll get a new character immediately. In the free one, you have to get to tier 55 or whatever. And then, otherwise later, if it's not that season anymore, you could just buy the character in the shop, or you can complete a challenge to unlock them. Maybe, I don't know. it seems like if I want to not pay, I can not pay, but it's going to take time instead. And it is a downgrade from when it went before, where it was always this exciting thing like, ooh, new character dropped today. Let's go try that out. And it's not going to quite be like that. Now, I understand there's a lot. It's a free-to-play game. It's got to change the model. And every other game that has characters like this, like multiverses or whatnot, a lot of them are, of course, going to charge for new characters. That's the business model. It still feels weird for Overwatch 2 because it's backtracking from what we had before.
Right. And Overwatch is like, yeah, it was $40 up front, but sometimes you get it for like $15. So
yeah, it was a good deal. And, I kind of talked to some of the people there, and the one person, like the manager for the brand, like, when I asked him about it, he was pretty naked about like, look, like we need to kind of sell, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's like, we have to sell battle passes if we want to keep making content for this game because it's free to play. So, of course, we're going to put, like, the biggest engagement thing we have onto the Battle Pass.
Mike, I want to read this to you. This is part of his question, and I didn't read the rest because he said if you didn't know, so and I knew you wrote the story, so we didn't have to go over that. But he says, arguably more important is that they said their design philosophy is shifting away from specific hard counters into more generic abilities spread across multiple heroes. That way your team isn't screwed if someone is locked, and a different hero can do the job just as well. That seems like a significant change.
Jeff, that's okay. Yes. But that's what they're saying, and that's what they're hoping.
This is bullshit. Okay, I get it now.
Blizzard has had a hard time keeping World of Warcraft balanced forever. There's always strong classes, strong specs. There's always going to be strong characters, something that's overpowered right now. And yeah, they can go in and balance it. You balance one thing, something else changes. Then in a month, there's a new character. You have to balance that. There's hard counters, and it's just going to be inevitable the way the game works. They combated it a bit with getting rid of a lot of the CC, which like stuff like stuns and dazes, and that's been good. I'm very skeptical there's going to be absolutely none of that. There are absolutely going to be periods where it's like, oh no, they have this character that can fly around, and we don't have the auto kill the fly character, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like their justification for a lot of things here. Like, well, there aren't going to be hard counters anymore. It's a lot harder than just saying there aren't going to be hard counters anymore.
Well, I guess we're going to see. That game is out when? October
4th or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
There's beta before that again.
From Hosp. Hey, yo, messy boys. With the news that How Long to Beat has been integrated into the Xbox PC app, is there any additional information you would want on a game's page? This is a good question.
They need what was that guy's name who told you when the nudie scenes were in the movies?
Mr. Skin?
We need Mr. Skin integration. That's a joke, everybody. Wouldn't that be funny, though? There's an alternate... There's an alternate track, Jeff, from like 2000s era top 10 babes and video games where we double down on that, and we are getting that instead of this. Like that alternate reality exists somewhere.
Well, I mean, let me help you all with that. Get immortality with just straight up sex scenes.
Yeah, sure are.
And full frontal nudity. Let's see. This is a good question. I was thinking about this earlier, and I thought I had some good ideas, and now they've all left my brain. The company's stock price, so you can really argue.
What if the game just told us how many copies it sold while we're playing it?
Exactly.
NPD integration.
I don't know. I'll keep thinking about that, though. That is a good question. From Nico, MonkeyBot9KAR. Hey, Mike, that's capital L, not L as in EL, Minotti. And Jeff, our future is so bright, we gotta wear shades, Grubb. With Japanese companies like Square Enix and now RGG Studios adopting Unreal Engine when they historically had their own engines, do you think Epic will try to make a move to secure more Japanese exclusives on their store? Also, do you have any idea if these studios consider this change a positive one? It does seem to have somehow boosted Ryoga Gakutoku's output, judging by the amount of games they announced would be coming soon, at least. Love you guys, Nico from Argentina. Okay, so the first part, I think Epic was already kind of making moves to try to like work with more Japanese companies. The Japanese companies will get better deals on Epic by using the Unreal Engine and then being like doing sales on Epic, because like the cut is even better if you have an Unreal Engine game on the Epic Game Store. So, like it was like 12% to Epic, but then it like drops to something like 5%, or maybe that's not exactly how it works, but you get a pretty good cut. Like maybe they drop the Unreal Engine fee if you go on the Epic Game Store. It's something along those lines. So yeah, maybe more games will end up going exclusive to Epic just for a little period of time to try to maximize those returns.
We've had that happen with Kingdom Hearts already.
Exactly. Square Enix is one that has done this multiple times, so I expect them to keep doing that.
Still waiting for Kingdom Hearts on Steam.
Yeah, and honestly, have we heard that
something crazy?
Are these RGG games? Have we heard if they're coming to Steam yet or not? Yeah, so if we don't know, maybe Epic first. And then do these studios consider this change a positive one? I think mostly. I think most studios are coming to the recognition that building a bespoke engine internally is mostly a sucker's game at this point. It is someone's already done all this work. They are giving you really aggressively priced, cuts or whatever, and no director is building their own camera for their movie. And no band is fashioning their own guitar out of a tree every time they write a song. No one's doing that.
It'd be kind of cool, though.
It'd be kind of cool, and it would be neat every once in a while. Just like every once in a while, a developer making their own engine is going to be kind of cool going forward.
Like every once in a while, you'll get an RE engine, right? But
yes, and it's like, and it does certain things way better, and it's very scalable, and all that stuff rules. But it's going to be way, way less common going forward. We are sort of settling into a natural state where there are going to be a few off-the-shelf tools that are very, modular, and you could do whatever you want to them still, and you can use them however you want, and you can build all kinds of things that look very different on Unreal Engine. But most people are just going to learn a handful of tools, and most games are going to be made in those tools going forward. Yes, Napper says in chat, a lot of studios end up hacking the shit out of Unreal to optimize it, and that will keep happening for sure. From Lenny... Okay. All right, let me try again.
Okay.
From Lenny, Cool Dick, Denver.
Wow.
Hey, Mike, I used to eat people, Minotti, and Jeff, I still eat people, Grubb. What are the odds that Nintendo still has something unannounced that would release this year that would get announced on Twitter? Also, which one of you can eat more hot dogs? I bet I could eat more hot dogs.
I also think Jeff can eat more hot dogs. I, despite my size, am not good at eating a large quantity of food anymore. I think it might be Crohn's related or something, but like I'll start getting like not sick, but like in pain after a while. So Jeff's got me beat there. I'm sure. I do like a good hot dog. The best hot dogs in the world are always ballpark hot dogs. Jeff, we should still. The Guardians are in first place. I think we should still try to maybe get to a Guardians game.
I would love that. Yeah, let's do that.
You know what? It's been a rough week. Maybe me and you can find a day sometime next week or at the end of the. Get to a Guardians game. Take a day off.
Pretty busy these next 2 weekends. I'm going to.
My weekends. Well, hey, maybe I don't know. Maybe we can't do it during the week.
We could do it during the week. I could totally make it happen.
Got vacation days. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, maybe
I'll send you a schedule. See what looks good.
Especially like a Friday after everything. I could just take a UPF off. Games. Okay, yeah, let's figure it out. All right, let's see here. Yes, I think there's a chance Nintendo has something still unannounced for this year that could get announced on Twitter. My opinion is that it's Metroid Prime, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll cut my hair.
Yeah.
We'll see. From Jedi Moss 4, good evening, beef and cheddar gents. Is part of the reason we're seemingly still getting a lot of cross-gen releases is the tech is now much easier and cheaper to scale. I imagine it was much harder trying to scale from PS3 to 360 to PS4/Xbox One and older generations. I mean, it is a big part of it is the PS4 and Xbox One are the same, underlying tech as these new systems. The new systems are just better versions of those. X86. Another big part is that the games that these companies are making are not actually limited by the hardware anymore. They are limited by budgets. They are limited by the amount of people they can hire.
Yes.
And that's the real ceiling these days. Xbox Series S, is that going to hold back games? No. Spending money, that's what's going to hold the games back going forward. So that's mostly what keeps happening. From Screaming Turbo Madden, hello, Jeff. What's your Cheesecake Factory order, Mike? Grubb, and Mike, it's a piece of fuck you, Grubb. Minotti. Is it just me, or is 2022 a quietly great year for platformers? We've had Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series, and indie greats such as Ollie Ollie World, Tinykin, and Freedom Planet 2. Which, oh, by the way, Freedom Planet 2 has a section that feels reminiscent of Battle Dome, just so you know. Oh, really? Oh. Okay, well, I'll check that out. Yes, this has been a pretty good year for platformers, Mike.
Platformers have been having a resurgence for a bit now, so I'm not too surprised about that, but it is still good to see. I still need to play Tinykin.
You're gonna love it, actually. I think you're actually gonna love it. From Diogo RP, good day, gents. Following the success of Splatoon 3, how long do you think Epic will take to create the Ink Royale mode in Fortnite?
They've been talking a little bit about what's coming this next season, right? So, I know like there's gonna be Spider Gwen is in there. Did I have a fever? Was that a dream I had during my nap? Somebody told me something was coming to it that I was excited about, and I can't remember. But I am looking forward to what's happening in this next season.
Oh, okay. All right.
I have to find out what it was. Maybe I made this up.
Yeah, please.
I got a text. In my mind, I got a text about Star Trek or something being in it.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Uncharted. That's Uncharted stuff's coming to Fortnite.
That's right. Right, because Uncharted is going to be playable finally on PC.
Chris was the one who texted me it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Chris. From Delta Prime. Hey, hello, Jeff. I was right again, Grubb. And Mike, I'm sure I was right about something, Minotti.
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah. The Nvidia leak is the gift that keeps on giving with Tekken 8 now announced. Where do you think we will hear about the PS4/PS5 games in the Nvidia leak? I'm still morbidly curious about Gran Turismo coming to PC. Yeah, Gran Turismo will come to PC. All those games will come to PC. Spider-Man came to PC.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo 100% is coming. So
right.
When do we hear about it? When they're ready. There's no way to really narrow those things down. They'll happen when they're ready. From Dugan, Deciders, good job taking your lumps this week. I wanted to let the community in on a tip. If you are interested in trying out new Switch games, check your local libraries. Seriously, my library is like the new Blockbuster. Turns out the carts/cards/physical games are good for something. I like how he covered all those bases there between carts and physical games. Interesting, Dugan. I might actually look into that. That's really neat. Cool.
We have a really nice library here, and I do not go nearly enough. So maybe, I'll have to do that. I'll have to give it a visit.
From Jamie H. Christmas Eve, in a 2021 interview with IGN, Bill Tran's reasoning for not revealing the Breath of the Wild 2 subtitle back then was that it would give away too much of the plot. So now that we know, do you think we're going on a Wind Waker style Triforce Peace quest to collect all the tears of the kingdom? One of the images in the trailer shows a figure surrounded by 7 tears/pendants looking things. Also, what do you think, if anything, will carry over for people who beat Breath of the Wild? Start with the Master Sword? I don't think anything will carry over.
I don't think anything will. I mean, it seems like the Master Sword being sort of disintegrated or whatever is part of the story here anyway, so not that. I don't know. You might get a costume.
There's not going to be any save progression. It's just going to be, there's going to be a canonical ending that everyone starts from.
But I would not be surprised at all if, yes, we are collecting 7 Tears of the Kingdom.
Uncharted Wolf in chat says the Nvidia leak didn't have PC Bloodborne, so I immediately believed it. There you go. Good thinking. Get shiggy with it, says Mike, a basic bitch. Likes Chris Pine because he was in Star Trek. Jeff, a man of culture. Fair. Likes Chris Pine because of the Chad boy energy he brought to Princess Diaries 2. Of course, absolutely. If Phil Spencer and Jim Ryan were to settle the fate of Call of Duty via a game of Smash with 1 month to prepare, which characters would they main and why? Thank Satan for Jim Ryan, who will protect the gamers now that Batman is dead. That's a good point. Okay. I think that Jim Ryan would main Cloud, right? Because he's already paid all that money for Cloud, so...
Maybe. He loves Jumping Flash, right? Are there any other rabbits in Smash Bros?
You think he'll just be confused and think that's Jumping Flash?
Maybe. Well, maybe it'll just make him feel happy.
Is that the name of the rabbit in Jumping Flash? Jumping Flash? Right.
No, his name is Robot.
Well, then you know what? I'm like trying to make fun of Jim Ryan for not going on games, and then I didn't even remember the name of the Rabbot.
I can't believe you didn't remember the name of the character from Jumping Flash. You fucking idiot.
I know, but I called him Jumping Flash like about 1,000 years old.
Yeah, I think Jim Ryan might pick Cloud, and it would be his undoing. I don't think he'd be able to handle it. Phil Spencer would just be Banjo, right? Like, because he's like, I remember being involved in that deal.
Yes, you're right. Oh man, have you seen this picture of Jim Ryan holding the Dual Shock controller? I think.
No.
It's here. I'll just post it in our chat. Every time I think of Jim Ryan, this is what I think of now.
Okay.
But we'll keep going. From Dr. Suss, hey boys, Jeff has recently said on GM Mornings that he loves judging books by the cover. So what games are great but have ugly covers, and what games are terrible with amazing covers?
Mega Man 1 on the NES is always like
the best example, yeah.
Like, it's hilarious how, like, even then, like, there's video games who are selling millions of copies. Capcom was like, a big company, and it was still like just somehow that happens. That is a strange picture of Jim Ryan. Yes, That absolutely is. I kind of that Felix one is also famous, Jeff. The one with the guy in the banjo. I like that cover. I'll just say it. I'm kind of into
love that
its
cover.
energy.
Yeah.
I always stared at that at the at Hollywood Video or Blockbuster. Now I never rented it, so I guess it wasn't too effective. But I always liked the cover at least.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm terrible at remembering covers and stuff like this, so I like Mike's answers.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, well, now I'm trying to think like what's one that had like a good cover, but the game itself is bad. That one is harder for me.
Christian says Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within.
I know. I can imagine it. It still didn't. That one didn't do a whole lot for me, so not sure.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts is a good answer. It had a good cover.
It has a great cover and it's a great game, so that doesn't count.
A complete piece of trash. That does it for the questions from the community, Mike. Do we get any more super chats?
Just one actually from the Andrew 13 here says, "Did Jens pop for Luigi Primo last night?" You bet I did. I don't know. Did you see Dynamite yet, Jeff?
I no, I've not. I was busy streaming last night instead. So
you saw that viral video, that wrestler who's just spinning pizza dough.
Yes, I did.
Wrestling Luigi Primo. Yeah, he showed up on Dynamite.
He did. Okay, fantastic.
I was very excited. Yes, it wasn't much of a cameo, but it was a cameo. Also, it's X-Core renewed their Lincoln membership. So
thank you so much, X-Core. X-Core is the reason I had to watch Season of the Witch last night because he gifted so many subs.
That's funny. I think I see here Solidity Potato also renewed theirs yesterday. So thank you. I dipped out. How did the rest of that go?
It's a movie where not much happens, and all the people die who you think are gonna die, and then it turns out it was Satan all along.
As that's the ending of most movies.
Yes, exactly. It's Hollywood, right? I mean, come on.
It's Hollywood.
Mike, what have you been playing?
I was on a big Final Fight kick for some reason.
Interesting.
I know why, because there's all these beat 'em ups coming out. And I was watching a lot of Matt McMuscle's videos, and he does a lot of like beat 'em ups and fighting games, and he has some Final Fight videos. So I love Shoots of Rage. I never played a whole lot of Final Fight. I think we rented Final Fight 1 a bunch of times, and I liked it. Nothing too crazy. So Final Fight 1's arcade version is in that Capcom beat 'em up bundle that I had, so I played that. But then I was like, I want to play 2 and 3. Then I remembered I have a Steam Deck, so I just played those ROMs.
Yeah,
and had a very good time. Those games actually kind of, I think, got better as they went along. By 3, they actually, like, 1 is very simple in terms of what you could do. By 3, the characters actually do kind of have movesets. They even have like Street Fighter style super moves, which is pretty cool. Also, Mike Hagar is just like Final Fight is not nearly as good as Streets of Rage overall. Maybe nearly as harsh, but it's not as good. But Mike Hagar is a great character. He might be my favorite beat 'em up character ever. Just like super buff mayor who's shirtless with like the one suspender. He's got that mustache, and he's like, I used to be a wrestler, and he just has all these grapple moves. He's just a big hunk of meat of a man. I love Mike Hagar.
My biggest memory of Final Fight is Cody, I think in Street Fighter Alpha 3 for the Game Boy Advance, in the striped prisoner outfit with the chains on his hands. I just remember that. That's like, it really stuck with me for some. I'm like, that character design is just very effective. Although, yes, Mike Hagar is maybe one of the greatest video game characters of all time. And
they brought that. Sorry, Jeff.
I was gonna say maybe we should do a tier ranking where we can get him in there somewhere.
Yeah, they did. They brought back Cody in Street Fighter 4 DLC. I think he's in 5 also. Actually, there's a couple of Final Fight characters that get in roster. The cop lady from Final Fight 3 actually was in Street Fighter 5, and then the girl from 2 was actually in Capcom vs. SNK 2 on Game Channel.
Wow.
That she maybe has been in other things. She must have been in Alpha actually if she was in Capcom vs. SNK 2. But I liked that a lot.
The Street Fighter Alpha 3 Game Boy Advance cover, speaking of bad covers, it's just Zangief holding the Capcom logo.
Yes, I remember that. It was weird. Like Zangief's our cover star for Alpha. It's like he had a lot of original, like whatever.
It's just weird that he's like just holding a cutout of Capcom. Like it's like he ripped Capcom out of a magazine and is holding it. It's so weird.
Mike Hagar's been he's been in at least a couple of the Versus games actually, but I don't think he's been in a Street Fighter. Since we have Hagar Stadium and stuff, I would love if he's just in the Street Fighter 6 roster. That would make me very happy.
We got that's a very long link. Never mind. All right, fair enough. Okay. Any other games you've been playing?
Just going along on Xenoblade, enjoying that. quite a lot. I did start Metal Gear Rising for the Game S Game Club. That is a very good game.
Yeah.
That game just rules.
I know people really like that.
It's still just super slick and fun. The combat is incredible. The whole cutting things mechanic is still really impressive today.
The hour I played of it when I thought that was going to be the first game club game was like, oh man, this actually owns. This is really cool. So yeah.
Yeah, and they do this trick every time, and it always works. Where in a boss fight, you have this cool song, and then like when you kind of are getting close to like the kill move, then the lyrics like break in, and every single time it gets me hyped as hell. It's fantastic. I love it. So excited to play some more of it and beat that one for the Game S Game Club.
After we talked about Splatoon on Last of the Nintendogs, I finally, because we were doing the quick look, played some of the single player mode. And I'm just getting through like the first boss, but it's like, oh yeah, I do like the single player campaign stuff in Splatoon, and I should play through that. The first boss is very simple stuff, but it is such a spectacle. Actually, it's like this really great animation, great design, awesome art. And like the way you beat it is actually interesting, even if it's like super simple and it goes really slow, so you can figure things out on your own pace. And of course, I'm like talking during the quick look, so I wasn't figuring it out, but chat was there to help me, and it was very nice. And so I'm like, oh yeah, of course, you shoot the things in the air, and you could see it painting and causing it to then go back and hit the enemy that fired it at you, and then you throw your little guy in his mouth and cause his mouth to get plugged up. All that stuff's very cool, and I'm like, okay, I am gonna play through this single player campaign next. Especially when, like, if no one else is online playing Splatoon, maybe that's what I should do. When someone is, I will play with them, and when they're not, I'm going to go through the campaign. So, also, I have not checked out the card game, but I know where it is now. I got the starter pack, and I think I'm going to try to play it a little bit. It's probably not going to be something I'm going to spend a lot of time with, but who knows? I at least want to give it a shot.
I haven't started this campaign yet, largely because when I'm not playing like multiplayer Splatoon right now, I'm still kind of wanting to play Xenoblade.
Right.
But I've liked the other Splatoon single player campaigns quite a bit, so I'm excited to get to that. We're gonna have a Splatoon 3 community game night tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. So if you are a Discord member, you can join us for that. Should be a good time.
Make sure if you want, check out the channel, because there's probably some details there about how you could participate, like who you need to friend and all that stuff. Sean
probably
usually
Turbo Sean.
Turbo Sean usually handles these things, but just go in there, ask around. Someone will be able to help you. I'm looking forward to that. I love Splatoon multiplayer. It's we started playing it during the quick look, just the regular, the turf battle. And we played a couple matches, did pretty poorly, and we wanted to keep playing, and we had to move on to Salmon Run, which we actually had a lot of fun with because we had Abby there to carry us, and Abby's very good at Splatoon. She was really reliable.
I want to try that Salmon Run mode. So I liked it in 2. I didn't do a whole ton of it, but that's something I think I can get into.
I think it's like even better this time, just because it's 24/7, so you just can you feel like, okay, this is something maybe I can actually get improved at, and come back to consistently with friends, and we could beat this horde mode. So yeah. But yeah, that's mostly what I've been playing. I've been doing a handful of other things. I started the Cowabunga collection a little bit, but I haven't put too much time into that.
Oh, it's good. Which one? What did you start playing first?
I started playing the Super Nintendo Turtles in Time, I think.
Probably the right move. There's like that option in like you can do for like easier running, where you can just like set it so that one of the shorter buttons lets you run instead of having to double tap or whatever.
Okay.
Definitely turn that on. It's pretty cool.
Okay,
that helps a lot.
Awesome. But yeah, that does it for me. So Mike, we should probably get out of here as it approaches 11 a.m. here on the eastern coast of the American.
PM.
11 p.m. Almost midnight a.m. We got there eventually. All right, I'm hitting this button. There we go. All right, Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
If I'm on Twitter at Twitch at Tokoto. I think I will be streaming right after this in a little bit.
What are you playing?
Maybe we'll do a little bit more Metal Gear Rising. was having fun with that. Might be.
And if you get 150 subs, you're going to watch Season of the Witch?
No, I'm not going to do that. Absolutely. Oh,
so you're going to watch Leaving Las Vegas? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's a real movie. At least I haven't seen it, but. If Next was there, maybe. Look, not on weekdays. Jeff, some of us have real jobs still.
My thing with Next is he has this magic power which allows him to see, like 2 minutes in the future. And so he just looks at every possibility he can to basically seduce a woman who does not want to sleep with him. That is the plot of the movie. And it's like, yes, it's the sleaziest, grossest thing ever when you actually sit down and think about it. It's like, how can I gaslight this woman using my superpower to sleep with me?
And when I think of Nicolas Cage, I'm usually thinking of classy entertainment.
Yeah.
So.
And it's like this, like young, like one of the most beautiful women in the world, and that only makes it worse. So yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's like, and it's like Nick Cage. There's a scene though where like you could see like multiple Nick Cages on the screen at once because he's like looking at all the opportunities and all the possible outcomes. I'm like, wow, this is even better than when there's one Nick Cage. It's better by a factor of how many Nick Cages there are.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and so it's like pointing out, it's like similar to Groundhog Day. In Groundhog Day, they knew what they were doing, and it didn't work. And only when he stopped trying and just actually became a better person did it work.
The character was punished for it.
That's not how it works in Next. It's very much the magic trick is gonna work. It's gonna get you laid.
There you go.
If Next was on there, we would totally watch it. That'd be great.
I gotta see what other Nick Cages.
Yeah, less than 10 dogs on Tuesday. I got Game Mess mornings tomorrow. The Splatoon game night tomorrow. Definitely come and join us. Join the Discord, discord.gg/game mess. Mike, you got any plans for the weekend?
I got another family birthday party on Saturday. I tell you,
they don't stop, huh?
They don't stop. I mean, it'll be fun, but I'm hoping I can relatively be chill. You know, I don't want to be on. I like playing with the kids. Sometimes it's like 2 hours of playing on the playground with
them. You like me and never leave your house. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Some people are saying there's a missed super chat. Oh God, there was. Hey, you all. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I have a simple question. Is Silksong real? From Tyler H? No,
of course not.
No.
Don't embarrass yourself by saying such things.
Only you will get to play it.
Bye, everybody.
I love Good Total's ass.